Are you ready to go on a mission trip? When we're talking to people and to groups about coming down on a mission trip, there's a couple of things, about 6 things that we really want you to think about before deciding to come on a mission trip. Number 1 is, what is your motivation? We want you to have a sincere desire to help people who are under-resourced and underprivileged. We do not want it to be a vacation. We do not want it to be a notch on your belt. We do not want it to be a tick on your resume. We want it to be a spiritual endeavor where you go into the world to help people. Another one is, are you spiritually prepared? Have you prayed about this? Have you talked to your pastor about it? Have you talked to other people who are also Christians that are in your life? And you're all kind of coming to an agreement that this is a great idea, because you're going to have to talk about your faith while you're on a mission trip. You need to be comfortable with that. You need to be spiritually mature and spiritually prepared. Number 3 is, how culturally sensitive are you? If you're going to spend an entire week here talking about how much greater the United States is than Nicaragua, you don't need that. We don't even really want that. We want people who can be immersed in another culture without being critical of another culture. Number 4, emotional resilience. We work in some of the least privileged areas on our half of the planet. Very under-resourced, very deep poverty. And when you experience this, particularly for the first time, it can take a toll on your emotional health. So our question is always, how do you deal with this? If you're coming on one of our trips, we have it baked into the trip that we're going to be talking to you and counseling you through things. But if you're organizing a trip somewhere that's going to have a lot of poverty, you need to figure this out ahead of time. Number 5, what is your physical fitness like, and what are the demands that the trip has? We field this question a lot for people that are coming down. We do a lot of work trips, so people are concerned that they're not going to be able to keep up and do the job that we're kind of expecting them to do. So we go through a lot of really having clear communication as to exactly what we expect. So if you're planning a trip, you really need to have a clear idea what the physical toll is going to be on people. If it's going to be a lot of hiking, if it's going to be a lot of construction, people need to know that, or else they show up and they're not ready to be able to do the trip. And finally, last but not least, all of the documentation and logistics that you need for the trip, from trip applications to passports to visas to hotels to travel to all of the things that you need to be able to move around, get to the country and move around in country. And it's a lengthy list of things. Here at Enrich Missions, all you really have to do is buy your ticket and meet us at the airport, and we'll cover everything else for you once you're in country. But if you're organizing a trip somewhere else, particularly if you're not going through another missions agency or an agency that doesn't really do a lot of trips, that's going to be a lot of work for you to do. If you're leading the trip, to see if you're going to be prepared, and or your team is going to be prepared. So going on a mission trip is a big deal, and knowing if you're ready or not, I think, is something that only you can really answer. So feel free to refer to our blog. We have all of these things typed out. Review this video again, and make yourself a checklist. See if you are ready to go on a mission trip.